Tribe of the One. We've been talking about this for the past couple weeks, and what's really cool about this is I feel like here at Elevate, you guys really understand why we're talking about this subject. You know, when it comes to tribes, when it comes to community and groups, that's a big part of what we do here, right? That's why we do small groups, right? And so we've been having a ton of fun and good conversations in your small groups, just talking about this idea. And tonight we're going to wrap this up. But, you know, me and my wife, in case you didn't know, we are expecting our fourth baby. I know. Who would trust me with kids? The government, apparently. But no, we are expecting our fourth child. We have three. We have Jack, who's almost 7. We have Olivia, who's five. Sorry. I can't remember if she was 4. She's 5. She's definitely 5. Yeah, she's 5. And then we have Dylan, who's 2, who's just something special right now. Gosh, she says no a lot, and she walks up to me and she says, "You're rude," like all the time. She's a punk. But we're having our fourth kid, and so what's crazy is, as me and my wife are getting ready for this child to come into the world and to join us in our family, we just are thinking about babies. And what's crazy is we kind of think through this. Here's something that I've known since before our Jack was born. Whenever you look at a baby, I'm just going to be straight up honest. As a parent, I can say this, and I want you to understand this. When you see a newborn baby, okay, a lot of people are going to say, "Oh my gosh, it's so cute." And let me just tell you the truth. They're not very cute. Hang on, okay? When you see like a brand new baby, like days old, they just look like deformed clay blobs mixed with old people. And like they're not cute. They're really not. And here's the other thing. Like, we're trying to figure, you know, we're going through names and stuff. There is not a baby in this world that's been born that you go, "Oh, that's a Charles." Like, no baby looks like an adult name. You know what I mean? Like my real name is Timothy. I guarantee you I didn't, like, show up and my mom was like, "Oh, my gosh, this looks like a Timothy." Like, no baby looks like that. If you're a parent here, you get what I'm saying. Like, it's just, but what happens over time, like, you kind of grow into your name, right? Like, I can't imagine Chandler being, like, Stuart. You know what I mean? Like, he's Chandler, right? His name just fits him. And I mean, he could have been born, like, Arnold, and I would have been like, Arnold fits him, right? But it's just, like, you grow into your name. And I remember, like, when my kids were born, all of their names, I was like, "Oh, I hate these names. They're so dumb." And then, like, over time, like, I really do like them, okay? But when you see a baby, you're like, "Man, you look weird." Like, not good. But then I started thinking about this. How come, like, baby animals are so cute? You know what I mean? Like a baby bear, you're like, "Oh, my gosh, I just want to cuddle you," right? Or even, like, a baby hippo. Even though they look like just like slimy balls of like a big grape, like they're so cute. And think about this too, okay? When a baby is born, a human baby, they can't really do like anything. That's not true. They can poop a lot, okay? And they cry and like that. But like when like a baby cow is born, they can walk like right away. They're just like not prancing, but they're like, "Hey, look at me, I'm a cow," right? And they're just like prancing, moving around, right? When a giraffe is born, it drops like 9 feet, and then it's like, "Hey, I'm here," and then it starts walking, right? Like, way to go, cow, way to go, giraffe. Like, they can walk like right away, but we can't. It takes us years to figure that out. Okay, maybe not years. I don't know, like 8 months, 9 months. Parent, I don't remember. Yeah, a year. Will, something like 10 months, 9 months. I don't know. Sometime before college, they start walking, okay? And so it just takes us time. But you know what's crazy is when I think about that, like cows and hippos and giraffes and monkeys, how they're like, "Oh, look at this, the booger." And like they're just like doing stuff right away. You know what we can do that they can't? We can dream for the future. Now, hang on. If you have a dog, I'm sure you've seen your dog like laying on the couch and starts going like, and then it goes like, and like freaks out and like wakes up. That's like, we think it's dreaming. We're not totally sure. Like, scientists haven't actually nailed it down if there's actually a cognitive like thinking going on or if it's like muscle reaction. But what we do know is scientists have done studies that show that we are dreamers, right? As human beings, we can dream of the future. We can think of something that is about to happen, or we can think of the future and what we want. We can imagine the future. Okay? We cognitively can think through this, and we can process through what the future looks like for us. okay? And more than that, when we're thinking, when we're dreaming, which I hope every one of you is a dreamer. I really do. Some of you are like, I'm more realistic, and that's fine, okay? But I hope you do have dreams, because dreams are so good, okay? Because it gets us kind of our brain thinking, Christmas lists, jobs, college, which I know sounds crazy, all these different things. We dream. That's what we do. But I want to throw out two scenarios for you, okay? I'm going to give you two different futures, because as dreamers, that's what we do. We dream for the future, right? Any of you already know, like, what baby names you want? Okay, a few of you. Okay, I thought there'd be more. Chandler's raising his hand. Okay. How many of you know how many dogs you want? Okay, there it is. Okay. How many of you know, like, what company you want to own when you're old? Okay, all right. How many of you know, like, that you're for sure going to get the PlayStation 6 when it comes out? Or Xbox 9 or whatever. Okay, a few of you. All right, cool. That's fine. That's fine. I've been trying to get the PS5. It's really difficult. Okay, I get it. But I'm going to throw out two futures for you, and I want you to just think about these futures. Okay, future number one is this. Check it out. Future one, you're getting a tattoo from me, and I'm giving you the tattoo in the back of a truck as we drive down an old bumpy road. And just make it even more fun, I'm artistically ability is 0, which is true. You should see my drawings on the whiteboard in our office. It's not good. I always say, don't laugh. And then what do? They laugh. Okay. Okay, so imagine that. Okay, so now, everybody close your eyes for just a second. Close your eyes. Don't look at the cute girl next to you. Don't look at the cute boy next to you either. Okay. Think about that. Okay, so now, once again, you're getting a tattoo from me, TJ Brooks, Timothy James Brooks the first, and I'm giving you the tattoo in the back of an old truck. I'm going to add old truck on an old bumpy road. Let's say midnight, no lights. Okay, who knows? Going off-roading. And I have no artistic ability. Close your eyes. Stop staring at me. The girls up here are like, yes. No, stop staring at me. Okay, now imagine what that would be like. Okay, you're dreamers, you're imaginers. Okay, imaginers. Imaginative? That's, okay. Imaginationites? Okay. Okay, now open your eyes. Okay, so you've kind of thought through that. You've processed. Okay, now let me give you future number two. You've won the lottery, and you get a check for $10 million. Now close your eyes. Don't you open your eyes. I'm looking right at you. Stop it. Okay, now imagine that future, okay? Now, which one would you probably choose? And I know a bunch of the weird, like, 7th grade boys are going to be like, I want the tattoo, man. I know they're going to say it. But think about it. You would all, if we're being really honest, would pick the lottery. Future number two. Now, here's what I also know probably happened. When I threw up future number one, let's go back to that one really quick. Future number one, okay? When I threw that one up, some of you already started thinking through, like, the pain, right? I mean, tattoos, like, I've got some, like, it's a needle. It's a bunch of needles just going, like, and it hurts, okay? You're thinking through that. Or you're thinking through, like, oh, my gosh, TJ stinks at art. Like, I've got to live with this, like, weird smiley face that looks like it's a constipated person for the rest of my life, right? You started thinking through, like, all that you were dreaming, you were processing, you were imagining, you were going, like, all the way through the scenario. Now, future number two. You won the lottery, you get a check for $10 million. Some of you were already going through your list of things that you're going to buy. Anybody was there? Anybody, like, what was the first thing you thought of you were going to buy? House? Car? Yeah? What? I'm pointing at you. Yes. Did you say something? What did you say? You'd pay me to do the tattoo. All right, combining futures. I get it. Yes. College fund? Okay. You would divest it maybe in some investment. I don't know. But you see, here's what I know, right? As we dream and think and process and we imagine, the beautiful thing about us being humans is that we're able to not just think and dream, we're able to feel, we're able to process, we're able to see a future and really go through it in our minds, which is something so different from all other creation, right? That's something so different from every other being on this earth, every other animal, every other thing, is that we can do that. Here's what I also know. When you dream, a tribe of the one will create the future. You see, for some of you in your minds, as I threw out these scenarios, you were already creating the future that you wanted, right? With the tattoo, you're thinking which tattoo you want to get, and then maybe how painful, how bad it would be, all these different things. For the money, you are already creating the future in your head that you are going to live through, whether that's a house, a car, donating it, college fund, whatever that is, you are already in your mind kind of in it for a moment living in the future. But the beautiful thing about this is a tribe of the one, which is us. We are a tribe of the one Jesus Christ, our God who has created everything for us. We will create the future, right? Well, in our minds, we're going to go through things, but we're going to be able to process through things and go through things, and we're able to kind of go that route and be creative. And when we dream of something, we're able to really think about a future that we want, right? And we're able to create our future. We're able to say, this is what I want this is what I want coming up. This is what I want to do when I'm older. This is what I want, blah, blah, blah. Like, we can create those things. And you see, everybody who's here tonight was created for this purpose. We all have the ability to create not just a future for ourselves, but create a future for others. And here's what it says in Psalms 139:14. They kind of lay it out this way. I will praise you, God, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and my soul knows it very well. Check this out. It says this. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am created to be respected, and things you have created me to accomplish will cause wonder. You see, this is why we stand apart from animals and other things. We were created fearfully and wonderfully. Fearfully meaning we were created to be respected and to be looked up to. So that is why we have pets. That's why Adam and Eve were called to name the animals. Like, we were called to be fearfully viewed, right? We were created intentionally for that. But we were also created wonderfully. And what that means is we were created for the things that God has designed us to accomplish, right? For some of you, that's going to be maybe going on a mission trip. For some of you, that's going to be feeding homeless people at holidays. It's going to be different for everybody. But the things that you were created to do were meant to cause wonder. The things you were called to do and created to accomplish were meant to cause wonder. For the people around you to go, wow. For the people around you to go, how? For the people around you to go, I don't get it. Tell me more about how that was possible. And then we get the opportunity to tell them who Jesus is, right? We get the opportunity because when we do something incredible, that's not from us. That's not because we were so great. It's because God gave us that ability. But we were designed to dream for the future. Now, for some of you, maybe you're thinking, well, what exactly does all of this have to do with being a tribe? What does all of this have to do with being a group of people? You know, when I dream, I'm dreaming for myself, right? Which is true. When you dream, you're probably thinking of things for you. Now, maybe you're thinking of some family members or some friends, but for the most part, you're dreaming of your future. Am I right? Anybody out there really dream about other people's future? Maybe, but you're kind of included in it, so I'd say that's still your future, right? But you see, while we're doing that, while we're dreaming, while we're creating, sometimes we get lost in me. Sometimes we get lost in my future. Sometimes we get lost in what I want to do. And what I want to tell you right now is that God passes on a dream that is more amazing and life-filled than our own. You see, what you can dream of, what you can think of, is not nearly as good as what God has created you for. What you're going to come up with, when I said $10 million, some of you were like, dang, a house, a car, as much sour candy as I can buy in the whole world. Right? Darian's like, yup. But you see, the really cool thing is that even though I'm going to just say it like this, we kind of stink when it comes to really dreaming of a future. I mean, we think of some good things, but imagine that there was a future designed for you that was better than something you could ever imagine. More life-filled than you could imagine, more amazing. What if there was something that God had planned for you that was better than what you could ever think of? Sounds pretty great, right? In 1 Corinthians, it says this. No eye has seen, no ear has heard, and the heart of man could never imagine what God has planned for those who love him. Grasp that for a second. The incredible future that you've thought about for you, maybe that's a bunch of babies, maybe that's a really cool house, maybe it's a great career, maybe that's a baseball Hall of Fame or whatever it is. Imagine that there's a future for you that no eye has seen, no ear has heard, and the heart of man could never imagine what God has planned for those who love him. You see, because here is the biggest thing that I can tell you tonight when we're talking about dreaming. When you truly begin to follow after God, when you become a tribe of the one, the tribe of Jesus, one of two things is going to happen. Your life is going to be ruined, or your life is going to be ruined. I know, it's like a double negative there. It's a positive. It's math, okay? Yeah, I went to school like 10 years ago. Okay. But think about this. Here's what happens. When we decide, you know what, I'm going to do it my way, and here's the life that I'm going to do because this is what I want to do, God's going to come alongside and say, hey, listen, I have something better planned for you. So the life that you were planning and creating, guess what? God's going to blow it up and say, nope. Okay? And then let's say you go, God, I'm all in. I'm ready to roll. What's going to happen? The life that you had is going to be ruined. See what I'm saying? Either your life gets ruined or somebody say it? Thank you so much. Paying attention, people. I love it. But think about this, and here's how we know this, okay? There are so many examples in the Bible of people who followed after God, and something happened, and then their life got ruined. So let's talk about this one. In Jonah chapter 1, who's the guy we're talking about? Anybody know? His name's Jonah. Okay, here's what happened. So Jonah was told from God, hey, you're going to go over to this city, right? He was going and telling everybody about God and who God is and how much God loved them and what they needed to do to follow God. And then God said, we're going to go this way. And Jonah said, nah, I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to hide from you and run away, and then I'm going to end up in a fish. And so God said, you know what? If that's the life you want to live, guess what? I've got a better one planned for you here. Trust me. So you know what I'm going to do? You're going in a fish. I'm going to ruin your life. And when we say ruin, sometimes we go, well, that sounds really harsh and bad. But sometimes we need somebody bigger and smarter than us to come alongside and tear it down and say, stop focusing on this. This looks fine, but it's not the best for you. It's not good for you. There's something so much better over here. And sometimes we get so blindsided, we look like this. And we can't see anything past what's right in front of us. And so God says, you know what? To help you see, I'm going to knock the walls down. I'm going to tear the house down. I'm going to just take it all away so you will start to go like this and look around and say, whoa, there's actually something amazing over here. And that's because that's what God has planned for you. So Jonah says, hey, you know what, God, instead of going this way, I'm going to go this way. So he runs this way, and God says, nope. And he blows it all up and then brings him back over here. And Jonah's life was ruined with bitterness. He was bitter because he didn't want to go there because he knew that he would probably die or get hurt or nobody would listen. He was bitter because God said, do this. And he said, no, I want to do what I want to do. How many of you sound like that sometimes when it comes to God? You say, no, I want to do what I want to do. And we like stand in the corner and we want to ignore what God's trying to tell us to do. You see, God took Jonah, who's an incredible person, and he ruined his life to show him something greater. In Exodus chapter 3, we go through the life of Moses. And we've gone through this story before, but Moses was told by God, God said, hey, I'm going to have you go get everybody out of Egypt. Trust me, we've got a plan. And what did Moses do? Moses says, I'm not the guy. And God says, yes, you are. And Moses says, no, seriously, I'm not. Send somebody else. And God says, zip it. I got a plan. You're the guy. Trust me. The life you're living out here where you ran away and think, I've got something even bigger and better planned for you that you can't even imagine. You think you're going to fall on your face, but guess what? I have things already in the works. I've got your brother Aaron coming. I've got all these tools that you need. But Moses was so stuck in, this is the life that I want, right here, this little bubble. And God said, let me ruin it. Bam. Let's go. Moses' life was ruined by the attitude of, I'm not good enough. Some of you are in that boat. You go, well, yeah, maybe God does have something amazing for me, but guess what? I can't do it because I'm not good enough. That's not me. In Isaiah chapter 6, you guys can dive into this one. This guy Isaiah does some incredible things, but God says, no, listen, I need you for something. And Isaiah's life was ruined because he was unclean and surrounded by the same types of people, by people who were unclean, by people who said the wrong things. And so his life was ruined because he said, no, I'm surrounded by these people, but God, I'm willing to do what you need. And God said, and then brought him up to something even better, right? And the very last one is this. This is the best example I can give you. In Matthew chapter 28, it says this. All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go, therefore, and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you. I am with you always to the end of the age. What it's saying is God is giving us the authority to go out into the world and to say, hey, listen, you need God, and God loves you. Let me tell you about him. All the knowledge that we get here on Tuesday nights, all the things that we know and believe about God, we are called to go tell people about it. In just a second, we're going to go into a time of worship so the band can come up. But you see, this is what we're called to do as Christians. You see, we're dreamers. We're going to think of this is the future that I want. These are the plans that I have. But my question to you is this. Are you willing to have your life ruined? Are you willing to say, you know what, maybe my way isn't the best way, and I'm ready to say, God, ruin everything that I've built. God, all the plans that I have, all the futures that I've decided for myself, all the things that I'm putting in the works, you know what, God, come alongside, blow it up, and show me what you need from me. God, come ruin my life because I'm ready to step into something that is so much greater, something I can't even imagine. I think my life is good now, but I can't imagine what you have planned if it's better than this. For some of you, you're like, my life's terrible. Give me anything. But what I want to promise to every single person here is that God has a plan for each and every one of you. And we are called to go into the world and make disciples of people. We're supposed to go tell people about Jesus. Imagine this. Imagine if next week every single one of us brought a brand new person who didn't know who God was. And then guess what? What if the next week everybody brought another person and another person and another person? How many people would get to know the love of a God who has an incredible plan for their life? A lot of people would be changed. A lot of people would come to know a God that is so incredible that we can't even imagine the things he has planned for us. But what it takes is for you to say, God, I'm ready for you to ruin my life because I know there's something better. My question for you tonight is that, are you ready to have your life ruined? For some of you, you haven't been coming to church very long. That's okay. For some of you, you've been here a long time. But a question I want to ask you tonight, so are you ready to have your life ruined? And what I mean by that is simply this. Are you finally ready to let God enter your heart? Are you finally ready to say, God, I've been doing things my way. I've been dreaming for the future for me. I haven't been thinking about others. I've been doing my thing on my own. And it's been going okay. It's been going in the direction that I want. But I'm ready for you to take it all and turn it upside down. I'm ready for you to enter my heart and to lead every decision that I make in the future, and for me to move forward in the plans that you have for me, to go make disciples of all people, of all nations, to my friends at school, to my family, to people that I'm scared to death to tell them I go to church. I'm ready to step into that, because if that is better than this, I'm all in. God, if you have something planned for me, let's go. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to see it. I'd love to be a part of it. But God, come ruin my life. Come ruin everything about what I'm doing so that I can be fully focused, not distracted, and follow after you. So here's what I want you to do. During this song, don't stand up yet. I want everybody to close their eyes for a minute. I want everybody to spend some time with God. If you've never made the decision to follow Jesus with your heart and to say, Jesus, you are at the center of everything. You're my Lord and Savior. You're my everything. If you've never said that and you're ready to make that decision, I just want you to say, God, talk to me. I want you to begin to speak to your God who loves you beyond anything you could imagine. As the band goes through this song, just take this time to talk with God, because he loves you. And if you're ready, say, God, ruin my life. For some of you, you've made the decision that, you know what, Jesus is my everything. That's amazing. What I want to encourage you tonight is to still remember that we got to continually let God ruin our life to make it better. We got to let him tear it all down so that we follow after the plan that God has created us for. For some of you, you've never made that decision. Maybe you're new to church, maybe you're a while, but you're just finally ready to say, God, take everything. God, come ruin my life so I can follow after you wholeheartedly. What I want to encourage you to do tonight is be fully open to that. And so if that's you, if this is your very first time and you're ready to say, God, take everything, we're going to pray together right now. I know it's a big group. You can stay sitting where you are. I want everyone right now to bow your head and close your eyes. And if you're ready to make that decision, I want you to just pray with me and repeat after me. God, thank you for who you are. Thank you for allowing me to finally see that I need you to ruin my life. God, I'm ready to accept you in my heart. I'm ready to allow you to take everything. And I'm ready for you to build my future. I'm ready to follow after everything you've created me for. I'm ready to accept you completely. In your name, amen. If tonight was your first night asking God into your heart, right now, I know it's scary. I just want you to stand up. And if you're scared to stand up, that's okay. Because what I want to also encourage you to do is this. Tonight, as we go back to our tribes, as we go back to our small groups, as we go back to the people that we are in community with, you have some incredible people that are there cheering you on and loving you. And that's your small group leaders and your fellow small group members. Tell them about the decision that you made tonight. Tell them about the fact that maybe you've been scared, maybe you've been nervous to follow after God, but now you're ready, so they can encourage you and push you forward. Because alone we go fast, but together we go far. And for those of you that have made the decision before, I want to encourage you to tell your small group, hey, you know what? I've fallen short. I haven't lived up to everything that I've been saying that I can do. I haven't been letting God really control everything. I'm ready to let God ruin my life again and again and again. Right now, we're going to finish our worship time. Let's all stand up. Let's praise our God together.